right. Looks like we are going. There we go. Okay. Just tip that a little bit. Okay. Hello everybody. Welcome to day 6. Day 6 of the Spring into Simple Decluttering Challenge. Thank you for joining me for another Facebook Live. I hope you guys are finding them helpful. I'm kind of like a blabber, so I'm trying to keep them short, but I hope that they are still giving you guys value and helping you with the day's decluttering tasks. So feel free to let me know if they are helpful or not. So today we are moving on to a new space in our home. We're starting on the kitchen. And the kitchen is often kind of the heart of the home for many of us. It's where we spend a lot of time. We cook here, we eat here, we gather here. We just usually end up spending quite a bit of time in our kitchens. So when we declutter and simplify the kitchen, it can really have a big positive impact on us because this is a space, a hardworking room. It's a space where we spend a lot of time and do a lot in that space. So the less clutter getting in our way, the easier life is in the kitchen. It's easier to cook, it's easier to clean up, it's easier to just spend time in, it's more enjoyable to spend time in your kitchen. So decluttering your kitchen can definitely have a big impact on your life and is definitely worth the work that you put in. So with that said, today, again, I've talked kind of throughout the challenge how we like to ease in and start with easier decluttering tasks first, just to build up that momentum and our confidence, strengthen our decluttering muscles. So that's what we're going to do today in the kitchen as well. So we're going to start with the pantry. I think the pantry is such a great way to start your kitchen because, again, this is a place where we can make more logical decisions and less emotional or difficult decisions. I mean, getting rid of food and seeing food wasted is never easy, but sometimes sorting through, canned goods feels a little bit easier than maybe sorting through like the china that you got from your grandma or that small appliance you spent so much money on and don't actually use. So that's the plan today. We want to just ease into the kitchen, start somewhere a little bit easier, and just get the ball rolling in there. So my favorite way to start in the pantry is to open up your pantry and kind of just sort through. I mean, if you're really committed to this and you have the time and you have the energy to do this, the best way is to empty your pantry out completely, wipe everything down, and then, only put back the things that are not expired, you'll use, and that kind of thing. But often we don't have a whole day to do that. That can take a lot of time. And remember, the goal of Spring into Simple is, 15 to 30 minutes of decluttering. These small bits of time add up. Do what you can in the time you have. So with that said, if you do want to do like a whole overhaul of your pantry, that's awesome. If that's not going to work for you and you only have a shorter period of time, no worries, because we can still get a lot done. So what I like to do is I like to start by looking through the pantry and first getting rid of anything that's expired or no longer good. This is the stuff that it's stale, it's gross, it's been in there since, it has dust on the top of it and the expiry date is embarrassing to admit, like those kind of things. So start with getting rid of the stuff that is just no longer good. Then once you've done that, start looking for stuff that it's not expired, but you're not going to use it. Sometimes we buy stuff because it's on sale or, we needed it for a recipe. And so we bought a couple and then didn't like the recipe. So now we're left with these like weird odds and ends that we don't always use up. I mean, it happens to everybody, right? So pull out anything that you're not going to use. If it's unopened and it's not expired, you can always donate it to the food bank. If it is opened and it's still okay to eat, you could see maybe you could pass it on to someone, a friend or a family member who might use it. You might just want to throw it away. If you're not going to use it, don't hold on to it out of guilt. Just get rid of it and use it as a lesson for next time. Or another thing I really like to do is if I have these odds and ends in my pantry, I like to take them out of the pantry and I put them on my countertop. And I don't like clutter on my countertop. So this really bugs me enough that I will use those things up right away. I will find a way to use them because I don't want them on my countertop, just causing clutter. So that's another good idea. If you have these odds and ends, put them out somewhere visible and then really make a point to use them, maybe within the next week. So that's something you can do with anything that's opened or unopened, not expired, but you just know you're not going to use it. So either the food bank, garbage, pass it on to someone else, or make a plan and use those things. So that kind of gets the clutter out of your pantry. Those are the things that you don't need or use in your pantry. Then from there, I really encourage you to really take stock of what you have. Often food clutter in the pantry comes when we, don't realize we already have something, so we buy another one at the store. Or, we see it on sale and we just keep buying more and more faster than we can use it. So really take stock of what you have in your pantry and pay attention to, how much you have, if you need more. I also encourage you to, when you're making your grocery list, stand in front of your pantry and actually look and see what you have. That's a great way to just avoid buying duplicates or more than you need. And then the other thing you can do is take stock of your pantry and make a meal plan. Like actually look at those things, think of what you would use them for, make a meal plan of, maybe 10 meals that's going to use up what you have, and then put that on your calendar, and that's what you get to make for the next few days. So that's a great way to kind of just use up what you have so that you have less. And then going forward, you can just, stand in front of your pantry when you're making a grocery list and make an effort to not buy more than you actually need or have space for. And that will really help cut down on food clutter in your kitchen. And of course, you have to decide what feels like a right amount for you. Some people like to have more on hand based on maybe your family situation, where you live, your proximity to the grocery store, how much cooking you do, those kind of things. Like you might like to have more or less than someone else. So it's really about deciding what works for you. I know a few years ago, I kind of got caught up in the trap of, if I'm a minimalist, I should have a very minimal pantry. And I would see people's pantries on Instagram and Facebook, and they would just have what they needed for that week. And so I kind of got caught in that comparison trap, and I thought like I should do that too. And I hated it because I don't enjoy cooking. So I always love having like some really easy backups. Like if I say I'm going to make, this more elaborate meal, elaborate for me being relative, and then the day comes and I don't feel like doing that, I like to have a few backups. I don't like to have only what I need. I like to have a few extras because that's what works for me. And that's okay. Totally okay. And the other thing is I really don't like grocery shopping as well, especially when I had little kids home with me. Like grocery shopping was just the worst. So I would rather stock up a little bit more and grocery shop less than have to be running to the store more often. So again, just figure out what feels like a good amount. If that feels overwhelming and you like to buy just what you need for the week ahead, then that's awesome. Like just figure out what's going to work for you. And then I mentioned in today's email, if you've done your decluttering, got rid of the food clutter, and you still have time and energy and you just want to keep going, another thing you can do is start to organize your pantry a little bit. So again, it's much easier after you've cleared the clutter because you've gotten rid of the stuff you don't need. So feel free, you can just maybe work with whatever organization system you have and straighten it up and, just maintenance organizing, I guess. Or if you're feeling really motivated and you want to take this on, you could rehaul your redo your organizational system and really make it something new that's going to work better for you. So again, that's totally up to you. Do what you can with the time you have. Start by getting rid of the clutter. That's most important. If you have extra time and you want to do some organizing, that's awesome too. And again, just think about what works best for you. I've seen people, like the classic way is like organizing by category, like canned goods here, pasta here, snacky foods here. Or I've also seen people do organization based on how they use the stuff. Like they'll keep all their breakfast foods together. They'll keep all of like the Mexican style foods in one place. They'll keep all the soups in another place, but canned vegetables in a different place. So make it work for you. You can go on Pinterest is a great idea for pantry organization, or just Google pantry organization, and there is so much. So if that's something you don't have the bandwidth to take on, then awesome. You can do that. If not, just focus on clearing the clutter and know that that will make life so much easier for you. It is just so much easier to find what you need, unload groceries and put stuff away. Stuff's not getting, forgotten in the back behind a whole bunch of stuff that you don't need or use. So focus on decluttering first. If you want to do more, you can, but just know that even if you just spend a few minutes decluttering, it adds up and it makes a difference. So that's today's decluttering task, is to tackle the pantry and do some decluttering. And this is also one of those things that no matter how organized you are or how minimal you are, it can always, you can always get some value from just tidying up your pantry, and even just wiping things down and just, taking stock of what you have is really important and helps. So I feel like this is something we can all do. I am going to our pantry is kind of a disaster at the moment, so I'm going to tackle it today too. And tomorrow we're going to continue in the kitchen. As I said, kitchens are places we usually have a lot of stuff, for one, and we feel the impact of the work when we declutter. So we're going to spend a few days in the kitchen just because there's so much value to get out of decluttering your kitchen. So tomorrow we'll be back in the kitchen for another day. So keep sharing in the Facebook group. I love it. So keep doing that. I will be back here tomorrow, 9 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, for our next Facebook Live to talk about tomorrow's decluttering task. In the meantime, if you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out. You can post them in the group or send me a message or send me an email, whatever works for you. And yeah, happy decluttering. I can't wait to see these pantries when you're doing them. So take care, everyone. Thanks for following along. You're doing great. Tomorrow we'll be halfway through the challenge, which is awesome. So you're doing great. If you're still sticking with me, you're doing such a good job. So thank you, everybody. Happy decluttering, and we will see you back here tomorrow. Bye, guys.